Adding pay to win in Diablo is essentially akin to removing the helmet from Master Chief in the Halo show. You take an IP that everyone loves and you cram in exactly what they don't want to see into that IP. And that's why we're seeing the response we are today. This is a conversation that is completely unavoidable. This is the largest negative review I've ever seen in my 5 full years of a full-time mobile gamer professionally. Literally, I only make a living playing mobile games. And to be honest, the last 3 out of the 5 years, I've basically made a living shitting on mobile games more than anything else. I've done tons of videos about the predatory aspect of mobile games, the psychology behind it, etc. These are all on my faux main channel, which has the name Darth Microtransaction, and the irony of that is missed upon some people. I've seen a lot of comments saying things like, because I'm only making guides and not talking about the pay-to-win aspect of the game, that I'm a shill for Blizzard and being paid by Blizzard. I'm going to make this perfectly clear right now. This game is pay-to-win. I've received no money from Blizzard. I am more of a gambling addict than I am a shill. I enjoy gambling. I enjoy gambling in mobile games. I have the cognitive ability to see that me enjoying gambling in mobile games is the problem. It's not that I'm going to defend my actions or the wanting to gambling. No, I don't. In the same way that I think people who maybe have a drug addiction or an alcohol addiction are like, yeah, I probably shouldn't drink, but man, do I like a whiskey. I see it the same way. I probably have a gambling-related problem. I know I do, because when I'm in a call with all my friends and we're all welling together, we're all having fun. We all have an atmosphere where when we're sitting at the table, it's almost one of a blackjack sort of table where it's like one time, no whammies, let it ride. We have the money on the table and we're all sitting there and we're like, what are we going to do? You know, come on, let's go. What's the drops? And then someone's like, oh, this guy got a 5-star. This guy got a 3-star, whatever. It's that atmosphere of social gambling and the sharing of what drops you got that has got us into a position in these mobile games of basically being these generally accepted. I've noticed myself spending more when people around me spend more. And I've noticed me enjoying spending more when I do it with my friends. Whether or not this is by design, this is by addiction for liking gambling, or if this is just the way the world works and typically you enjoy things by having your friends around you, I can't answer. But what I can tell you is it's scary because I can see me wanting to spend $10,000 in this game very quickly. I've spent $500 and last night I discussed with the other necromancer who's not in my clan, who's in the top rank. His name's Depth. Shout out to him. And we decided on a gentleman's handshake. We are racing each other back and forth on the leaderboard, but we both spend about the same $500. So we said, if we ever spend any more game, we have to, or any more money in the game, we have to inform the other person, and we're going to keep we're only going to keep the same level from now on, because there's no reason to have a well war against each other where we race each other in monetization and the only winner is the house in this scenario, aka Blizzard. So I would highly recommend, if you're in the game and you're chasing the leaderboards and you're somebody like me who maybe has these tendencies to spend the money, and I want to come out and freely admit this because I feel like there's a larger community that stays silent that I know exists because I have played mobile games for many years, like I say, professionally. I know there is a area of mobile gamers where there's a group of whales who will go from game to game and do it because of gambling tendencies and do it from the ability to be able to one-time no whammies and see what you got. Now, if you're against this type of monetization in mobile games, if you don't like pay to win, you should allow these people to speak freely without ostracizing them. People like me who will come on here and be like, I did it because I like gambling. We need to hear from these people. These are testimonies that might actually sway court of public opinion. What doesn't help is when we all jump on the game and scream about pay-to-win garbage while making videos that are filled with factual disinformation. I think there's some videos that have a pretty hard blow to the game. I thought Z's video where he talks about the boon of plenty, for instance, going away if you literally don't log in every single day was fantastic. I understand that point. I thought there was some other great points being made made by some of these other videos. However, it was unfortunate for me that when I watched some of these, see many of these people either hadn't played the game for over an hour or would just say things like the Dreamcast guy, for instance, would say things like the level cap is 50 and you can't even hit it without paying in the game. I don't think we even need to make up things in order to dunk on the game. I think the game is easy enough to be dunked on by itself if you just open the shop and start making content. I don't think we need to make things up. And in fact, I would argue if you're enjoying the game at all and the monetization has you down, the best way to send that message to Blizzard is by having an active free-to-play community that's playing the game as free-to-play. And they have the data showing there's millions of people that are playing the game but not handing them any money. Why is this? Maybe it's because you made a good product, but you got the prices wrong. Here's the other thing about the prices. As a well, it's also a really bad feeling. I might like gambling, and I might be able to freely admit that in these videos, but it doesn't feel good beyond the first few $100s. I can tell you, I've spent thousands and thousands. Look, in Raid Shadow Legends, for the people that don't know, I've spent $16,000. I fell prey to one of the ads. I watched one of my good friends who's a YouTuber do a sponsored stream or sponsored video. I got into Raid, and don't get me wrong, okay? I've played Raid long enough to know, and I've played other Gashas long enough to know, if you like the Gasha category, Raid is actually really good free to play, and there's a lot about Raid Shadow Legends that's actually a decent game. But the monetization in the game is even better at getting you to spend if you like gambling than in Diablo. Because in Diablo, the legendary gem drops it for a gambling addict, for somebody who's the target market who's going to go into it and be like, I want to see the drops. They don't feel good. They just show up like ding, ding, ding. And if you notice, the good ones have a white line instead of an orange line. That's really it. You click the legendary gem summon. There's no big casino slot thing where they slot down one at a time, which is what they should do if they really want to trigger the gambling addicts, right? You should have it where each one of these gems go roll when you hit the legendary gem summon. You see all 10 of them and it goes ding, ding, ding like a slot machine, yeah? Because that's what it is. Let's make no mistake, that's what it is. So what does this mean for me? What's my opinion on the game? I think the game's done a really good job at drawing cash out of me. I think the $500 I spent, I talked myself into spending and then told myself it's a good return on investment by YouTube and it's a tax write-off. I also think that after I spent the money, I basically regretted it. And I realized that my experience in the game is as enjoyable before and after I spent the money. The last $200 of the $500 I spent did not get me any upgrades. I literally only got powder to upgrade things I already had, and I couldn't even do that because I'm at the point where it requires duplicates for me to upgrade my legendary gems because I've spent a few $100s already, right? Now I have to spend enough and get the duplicate legendary. But here's the thing, if you're a massive whale, that part doesn't even matter and you skip the dopamine entirely, you just straight up buy power because you go to the market and well out $100, buy platinum, and then literally just buy the gem you need out of the market from other players. That's the part I didn't understand. I didn't think there was any trading in this game. There's trading, but with just extra steps. You can go to the marketplace and buy stuff off the market for a lot of money. You can literally spend hundreds of dollars on one gem just to get the gem you want from somebody who's selling that same gem. Now, you can't transfer that money back to real life. There's fees associated, so you can't really flip and game the auction house, but it's in the game. What's that mean for me, though? Well, I actually really like the game, and that's kind of the problem. Like, I legitimately enjoy the game. So I want to do the things in the game, and some of the things I want to do in the game is gamble. And I've done that a lot already. In fact, more than I wanted to when I launched. I thought maybe I spent a couple $100, a few $100, but I spent $500. And that's more than I wanted to spend. And I have to ask myself, why? And it's because they do a good job of getting the money out of me. And then I have to ask, is that the problem? Is that what we're focusing on as a community? Is it that they're good at getting the money out of me? Is it that the game isn't good enough? Is it that the PC client's too buggy? It's a little bit of all of them, to be honest. And I can understand why the game's getting so much hate. Their pay to win is a conversation that people are very passionate about. And they took a large IP and added pay to win in it. So we're going to be hearing a lot of complaints because there's a lot of people who care about this intellectual property. I think to be honest, I think a good example of this is the Halo TV show. I think if you take something that people love, which is in the Halo TV show, literally Master Chief, and then make it not about that, the TV show is definitely not about Master Chief, and he sure as hell doesn't keep his helmet on in that show, and you see a lot of butt cheeks. That's not what Halo is about, right? the people who originally loved Halo get mad. And I think, what's Diablo about? It's about grinding. Well, if you watch Echo Hack's video recently, they took away a lot of the grinding aspects of the game. Well, what does that leave? It leaves a lot of pay to win for the people so you're adding in things that are not about the game. Adding pay to win in Diablo is essentially akin to removing the helmet from Master Chief in the Halo show. You take an IP that everyone loves and you cram in exactly what they don't want to see into that IP. And that's why we're seeing the response we are today.